Alright guys, so welcome back here to another tutorial, and what we did in the last episode is that we managed to do the drag and drop of the cards. And notice that the card, they only drag into a certain area and they do not overlap to each other. Now what I would like to do here today is that I would like to make then, let's say, how can I say, like dynamic. We can use them dynamically on our game. So on our game, we do not use the mana here, but we can probably keep all this stuff here. I'm not sure how this card is gonna work first, but so to make this most dynamic as possible, we need to create and load the cards using a data table. So before I do this, on the horizontal box, I'm gonna call this card data table. All right. And okay, actually, I'm just gonna call this card list. Right, it's still a list in theory. Now there's still a couple of things we have to figure out, but we're very close. So I'm going to create here another folder called variables, and then in here I'm going to create a folder now, a structure called st card. All right, and before we create that, we are just going to add a card type, e, and we can have like if stands for enum, and it's going to be card type, right? And we can actually have something like attack, and then we can have like let's say healing, and we can have like magic, and we can have something like defense, right? Defense card. Perfect. And that's what we gotta do. Now, I'm not sure if I'm gonna use all those types. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure how this game is gonna still work, the mechanics. I still figure out on the way, but we can start with this and improve in the way. The secret when you're building early games is just that you keep everything simple as possible. Make your logic very stupid. That's how you get a good game, because you understand what's going on. Like this one is very simple. Like we did this like in 5 minutes, and you understand easily how easy it is to create a game, right? Like it's anyway. So what we're gonna do here, open up the card. Now on the card, the next thing we gotta do is that we need to give a name. Now I'm not sure what we are gonna actually use to cast these cards. If it's gonna have some cost, probably we're not gonna have a cost, since the cost is the turn itself. But then we can have things like, for example, damage. We can have things like shield, and I think we can have maybe a description. This. And the most important part of all, right? We're gonna add an icon. The card icon. Perfect. And now the name, we are gonna use name. The icon is gonna be a texture, and you're gonna make sure you select texture here. And you don't need to assign any default values, which is fine. Now the description, it's gonna be a text. Damage, it's gonna be, I'm gonna attempt to say an integer, to be honest. And the shield's gonna be integer. I'm not sure if we're gonna have more than this. Like maybe you can have like healing stuff, like healing, because we can probably healing. If your character is a healer, we can kind of heal the character or something. I'm not entirely sure how we're gonna do that. Okay. Now here's the thing. The card type, I think I did a mistake with this, but that's fine. So what we can do here is that we're gonna have attack, healing, magic, and defense. So what I was thinking is that we have, for example, a tank. We can have like DPS, or in this case, how can we say, like rogue, like let me just do something very simple here. RPG, D&D classes. Just double check the classes. So we have a monk, cleric. So we can have here, for example, let me open up here on here. So we're gonna have the I'm just gonna keep it as tank, and then we're gonna have like a fighter. Oh, I'm just gonna type it in the right place. So fighter, and then maybe we can have here, let's say, some kind of a druid, and we can have like a wizard, I guess. And this is just going to be the type of cards that we're going to use, all right? That's the purpose of this, is just to make sure that each character has their own type, and then we can assign different cards for them. That's it. That's all we're going to use this for. And now we're going to add here card type, set type, and search for this card type. Perfect. Now the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to right click. We're going to go back to miscellaneous, and we're going to search for a data table called this one, SD card, DT card list. You can call card list, whatever we want. And here's where we're gonna actually create some cards. So for this, I do actually want to make things a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna go back here to the textures, and I'm gonna call this card icons, right? The icons that I meant is the illustration that you can see here, right? But anyway, so the card icons, and as usual, there's this website that I really like to use called Game Icons, and they have 1,000 of icons that we can use for free, right? I think you do need to give them CC for if you want to use on your game, but we can use them. So the first thing we need to do here is that I'm going to create this as if it was my game. So thinking about how the Darkest Dungeon works, usually you have a very boring attack called sword, right? So every time you have like a sword attack, now we just need to find out an icon for sword, right? And to be honest with you, I don't care which one we use, so we can just download anyone. I'm gonna download here using the black, but after I will probably change the background. So I'm gonna add T-sword, and I'm gonna have this open up on my other part of the screen. You guys are not gonna be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna drag and drop the icon here. I'm gonna assign the icon right there, and I'm gonna say it's a sword. I don't know. We can, or like does damage, does damage. Then the damage is gonna be like 2 points. The shield does not matter. Healing has 0, and the type is tank. Right. Now what we can do is duplicate that, and we can use one, let's say, called shield, right? And that's gonna download the shield, drag and drop here. Perfect. Now I'm gonna drag and drop the shield here, and I'm gonna use like, let's say shield, and then the shield one we are gonna probably block attacks or something like that. Now the damage is 0, the shield is like 2, and the class is tank. So tank can use those two. Now let's think about the fighter. So I'm just gonna, probably the fighter won't have anything to defend itself, but it does like a lot of damage. So we can create like something like dagger or something. So we're gonna go back here, we're gonna go back here to the engine, let's find a dagger. By the way, if you do have your own images, feel free to use it. I'm just using those because since we're building a tutorial, I can't use real assets because of issues with compliance and stuff. But anyway, so now we have your damage, so it's gonna be 5, and the type's gonna be fighter, and then we're gonna duplicate that, right? Now the next thing we can create for the fighter is some kind of a poison or something, right? Can do this nuclear for sure, right? And we can just put that one here, poison, And we can just do like damage 5, which is fine. Perfect. And we can put it poison. Now I can duplicate this, and I'm gonna put healing, and well, I'm just gonna put like 0 and 5 points of health. Let me double check here the healing. Download here. And you guys got the idea. So we're just gonna go with this 5 for now. I think we can actually do something fun with this already. And it's gonna be a druid. The wizard, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we can create some tricky cards, whatever, but it's gonna be for the future. Now I have 5 cards. Now I need to design the card itself, which is gonna take some time. We're gonna make it very simple, all right? We just need the icon, the name, description, and the type of the card, and if it is like damage, the value here. That's all we gotta do. So I see you guys on the next one, where we're gonna carry on how this is gonna work.